The silent watchers. In the dark emptiness of deep space, the ember's edge drifted silently, cloaked by a sophisticated quantum field that bent the fabric of reality itself. On board, Captain Lyra Siren stood before the main viewport, her expression unreadable. As the leader of the Zoreth Expeditionary Fleet, she was accustomed to the weight of command. But this mission, this new world, felt different. The galaxy was vast, teeming with unknown civilizations, but the humans, this new species, had caught the attention of the Zoreth. They were a rare anomaly. They hadn't yet learned to manipulate quantum space, still reliant on antiquated technologies, but their rapid progression had sparked the curiosity of Lyra's superiors. What was most intriguing, however, was their determination to survive against impossible odds. "Captain, scans complete." A calm voice interrupted her thoughts. It was Ensign Drell, her chief of intelligence. His alien skin shimmered with the subtle glow of bioluminescence as he adjusted the console. "The humans are primitive, Captain. Their space stations are rudimentary, and their weapon systems are stuck in the past." Lyra's sharp eyes never left the screen as she absorbed the information. The data on humanity's technological prowess was not what concerned her. It was their potential. For reasons unknown, humanity had sparked a deep curiosity in the higher echelons of Zoreth Command. They were a fledgling species, yes, but one that had defied the odds to even reach this stage of development. "Their spacefaring technology doesn't even rank on our scale," Drell continued, his voice tinged with disbelief. "Their defense systems rely on kinetic projectiles, Captain, primitive by our standards, and they still communicate using electromagnetic waves. It's inefficient." Lyra nodded, her fingers pressing gently against the smooth, cold metal of the console. Her mind raced as she thought of the countless species that the Zoreth had encountered over the millennia. Some weak, some strong, but all ultimately the same. Earth's inhabitants, however, felt different. There was something in the way they clung to life. Despite their technological backwardness, they had made it this far. Why? "Prepare a deep scan," she ordered, her voice steady, though her mind was far from calm. "I want every detail of their defense networks, their satellites, and any unusual energy signatures. We'll need to understand how they managed to overcome the limitations of their technology." As Drell began his work, Lyra felt the quiet hum of the ship's engines vibrate through her bones. She was a leader, a commander, and her job was to make decisions that could shape the future of entire civilizations. But this time, the decision felt much more uncertain. There was something nagging at her, an unshakable feeling that these humans might not be the primitive species they seemed to be. The Federation had encountered hundreds of species, all of whom had followed a similar path: technological growth, cultural assimilation, and ultimately, domination by the more advanced powers. The humans, however, had achieved something that puzzled Lyra. They had survived against overwhelming odds in a universe full of far more advanced beings, and they had made it to the stars despite their seeming lack of resources. Suddenly, a soft beep from Drell's console broke the silence. "Captain." Drell's voice was laced with hesitation. "There's something else. It seems our scans are being redirected. I'm picking up quantum anomalies, Captain. It's like they knew we were coming." Lyra's heart skipped a beat. How could they possibly know? Before she could ask further, the viewport flickered, and an image of Earth appeared in the vastness of space, a small blue marble nestled in the arms of its sun. It seemed peaceful, almost serene. But Lyra knew better. The truth was often far different from appearances. "Ensign," Lyra said, her voice now cold with determination. "Set course for Earth. We're about to make first contact. But this time, I want to see just how far their ingenuity will take them." The hidden strength of humanity. The ember's edge sliced through space like a silent predator, its sleek hull gleaming faintly under the distant stars. Captain Lyra Siren stood at the helm, her piercing gaze locked onto the small, seemingly inconsequential planet below. Earth. The humans, fragile creatures by most galactic standards, had somehow survived for centuries on a world with only rudimentary technology. Lyra had seen the rise and fall of many civilizations, but humanity was different. "Captain, we're entering Earth's gravitational influence," Ensign Drell announced, his voice breaking through the quiet hum of the command center. "We're in range for initial communication attempts." Lyra nodded, her thoughts a whirlwind of uncertainty. This first contact was supposed to be straightforward. Observe, make contact, and then assess if Earth would be another subject of the Zoreth's vast empire. But something felt off. The humans should have been easy to overwhelm, yet Lyra couldn't shake the feeling that they were hiding something. "Prepare the first contact message. Standard protocol," Lyra ordered, trying to steady her nerves. But as Drell began to input the communication codes, the ship's sensors flared to life with a strange new signal, one that wasn't part of the pre-existing data on humanity's communications. "Wait, Captain, this is unusual," Drell said, tapping frantically at the console. "It's not a simple electromagnetic transmission. It's quantum-based, but its origin, it's from Earth. They're aware of us." Lyra's heart skipped a beat. A species that had just begun venturing into space had detected them, despite their most advanced cloaking technology. It didn't make sense. "Can you triangulate the signal?" Lyra asked, her voice tense. Drell's eyes widened as he processed the incoming data. "It's scattered, Captain. They're using a form of communication we've never encountered. It's as if they're bouncing their signals off our own quantum field, masking their true intentions." Lyra took a step forward, her mind racing. The humans weren't just reacting to the Federation's presence, they were anticipating it. It was impossible for a species with such primitive technology to execute such a precise maneuver without external assistance. But who would help them, and why? "Activate all quantum camouflage and prepare for deeper scans," she ordered. "I want to know exactly what they're hiding." As the Ember's edge slipped further into Earth's orbit, the crew observed the planet below. It was a beautiful world, rich with blue oceans, vast continents, and swirling cloud systems. Yet there was something unsettling in the air. As Lyra watched the surface through the viewport, a feeling of déjà vu gripped her. She had witnessed countless civilizations, all unaware of their impending doom when the Zoreth came to enlighten them. But this felt different. Suddenly, the ship's sensors gave a sharp, unexpected ping. "Captain," Drell said urgently, "there's something on Earth's surface. A massive energy signature. It's unlike anything we've encountered in the sector." Lyra's mind snapped into focus. "What is it?" "It's fluctuating, pulsating. It's not a natural phenomenon, Captain. It looks like it's been built." A chill ran down Lyra's spine. Humans had no known capabilities for creating such vast energy systems. At least, that was what the Zoreth believed. "Coordinates," Lyra demanded. Drell's fingers flew over the console, pinpointing the location of the anomaly. Cheyenne Mountain. The humans have constructed something deep underground. Something powerful. Lyra's eyes narrowed. Cheyenne Mountain. That was a strategic military site, but this was beyond anything she could have imagined. The humans had been hiding something in plain sight. "Increase stealth. We're going in," Lyra ordered. "Prepare for reconnaissance." As the ship descended towards the mountain range, Lyra's mind raced. The Zoreth had ruled the galaxy for millennia, spreading their influence to countless worlds. They had faced down the fiercest warlords, crushed entire empires, and absorbed countless civilizations. But no one had ever stood against them with the audacity and tenacity that the humans seemed to possess. The Ember's edge glided silently toward the mountain, its hull cloaked and invisible to any external detection. The crew remained silent as the massive ship hovered just above the surface of the planet, concealed by layers of electromagnetic fields and quantum camouflage. Below, the ground rumbled slightly. Beneath it, something ancient and dangerous stirred. Lyra watched as the sensors began to map the underground facility. It was colossal, extending far deeper than anything the Zorith had ever built. But there was something more, an intricate pattern, almost as if the structure itself had been designed not just for defense but for offense. The human species, it seemed, had been planning something all along. Perhaps their outward display of weakness was part of a greater game. "Captain," Drell said, his voice almost in awe, "they're not hiding their weapons. They're hiding their power. The entire structure seems designed to house a quantum field generator, something that could disrupt any fleet that tried to invade." Lyra's mind raced. The humans, so far from being the helpless creatures they seemed, had already devised a defense system that could cripple an entire invasion force. Their ingenuity, their capacity for innovation, it was unlike anything the Zorith had expected. "Initiate data collection," Lyra ordered. "Send everything back to command. They need to know what we found here." As the Ember's edge remained cloaked above Cheyenne Mountain, Lyra could only wonder how far this new species was willing to go to defend their world, and how much the Zorith had underestimated their potential. The hidden weapon. The Ember's edge floated silently above Earth, invisible to the naked eye, its cloaking technology keeping it undetected by the primitive sensors below. Captain Lyra Siren stood at the front of the bridge, staring down at the blue and green sphere of Earth. The anomaly in Cheyenne Mountain still pulsed in her mind. It wasn't just a military installation, it was a warning. She had been commanding the Zorith Expeditionary Fleet for decades, and yet the humans had done something she had never expected. They had built a hidden fortress, one that seemed to not just defend their world, but prepare for an attack. If the humans had been able to develop a quantum field generator like the one they were hiding beneath the mountain, Lyra knew their potential was far greater than anyone had guessed. "Captain, we've intercepted another transmission from Earth." Drell's voice came through, breaking her thoughts. His tone was strained, almost urgent. "It's encrypted, but it's coming from Cheyenne Mountain. It's directed at us." Lyra's pulse quickened. The humans knew they were being watched, and they had chosen to respond in their own way. The Zorith had never encountered a species so proactive, so aware of their presence. The message was unlike anything they had encountered before, and she felt the weight of its significance. "Play the transmission," Lyra ordered. Drell's fingers danced across his console, and a holographic projection appeared in the center of the bridge. A human, clad in a military uniform, appeared before them. A woman, her face stern, yet calm. Her eyes locked onto the projection, as if she knew exactly who was watching. "This is Commander Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Force," the hologram spoke, her voice carrying authority. "To whoever is listening, we know you're here. We've been preparing for this moment for years. Earth is not your conquest, and we will defend ourselves." Lyra's heart skipped a beat. The audacity of the humans was staggering. They had been aware of the Zorith, aware of the Federation's interest in them, and they had been preparing for this confrontation without the Federation ever realizing. The message continued, but Lyra's mind had already begun processing the implications. "We've built a network of defenses, hidden, buried deep beneath our world. We've developed technology that your fleet won't even be able to detect. You're not the first to come here, and you won't be the last. But Earth won't be added to your collection of subjugated worlds." The transmission ended abruptly, and the silence in the bridge was deafening. Lyra could hear the quiet hum of the ship's engines, but her mind was elsewhere. How could they have known? Drell, still processing the data, spoke up. "Captain, this is unlike anything we've encountered. Their defenses are far more sophisticated than we thought. We've been underestimating them this entire time." Lyra clenched her fists. "They've been preparing for years," she muttered under her breath. "What's most troubling is that they've been hiding their strength, making us believe they were unworthy of our attention. We've miscalculated." The Zorath were masters of strategy, but they had made the mistake of assuming that every civilization followed the same predictable path. Humans had not just made it to space, they had made it with purpose. Their technological progress wasn't linear, it was intentional. And this was no ordinary species. This was a species that had been planning for war long before the Federation had set its sights on them. "Captain," Ensign Drell said cautiously, "I'm detecting new energy spikes from their underground facility. It seems like they've just activated something. Something big." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "What are they doing?" "They're charging it, Captain. The quantum field generator. They're preparing to deploy it." Lyra's mind raced. She had seen quantum weapons before, powerful tools capable of disrupting entire fleets. But this wasn't just a weapon. The humans had learned to harness the very forces that governed the fabric of reality. They had been toying with concepts that the Federation had only begun to understand in the last few centuries. She turned to Drell. "What are we facing, exactly?" "It's difficult to say," Drell replied, his voice tense. "We've never encountered anything quite like it. If they deploy this technology, it could disrupt the very space-time fabric around this system, cutting off our ability to use faster-than-light travel. It could strand our fleet here." Lyra's gaze fixed on Earth once again, but this time with a new sense of urgency. The humans aren't just defending themselves. They're willing to take down anyone who tries to invade their world, no matter the cost. "Activate all stealth systems," Lyra ordered, her voice cold and commanding. "We're getting closer. Prepare the fleet for possible retaliation. These humans might not be as weak as they appear." As the Ember's edge drifted silently closer to Earth's surface, Lyra couldn't help but feel a sense of dread. She had been prepared for war, but this was something new, something raw and unpredictable. She had underestimated the humans, and now they were about to show the Federation just how wrong they had been. The awakening. The Ember's edge hovered in Earth's orbit, its cloaking field intact, but its crew far from calm. Captain Lyra Surin paced the bridge, her mind racing as she processed the unfolding situation. The humans, with their primitive technology and seemingly innocent history, had been hiding something powerful beneath their surface. And now, as the quantum field generator hummed to life on Earth, she realized the true extent of their threat. "Captain," Drell's voice broke through her thoughts. "The energy output from the human facility is reaching critical levels. They've activated the primary core. If they engage this system fully, it could disrupt our ability to maneuver through the entire system." Lyra's mind clicked into action. The humans had been preparing for this moment for years, maybe even longer. They knew the Federation's tactics and had countered them with technology that was not only ahead of its time, but also designed specifically to neutralize superior forces. "We need to understand what we're dealing with before they fully activate it," Lyra said, her voice firm. "Prepare the fleet for evasive action. If this technology is as dangerous as it appears, we need to be ready for anything." The silence of the bridge was shattered by the sound of urgent beeping from the communications panel. A message had just arrived. It was a broadcast from Earth's Defense Force, directed to the Zorath fleet. "Put it through," Lyra ordered, a sense of foreboding creeping over her. The holographic projection flickered to life again, revealing the same woman from the earlier transmission. Commander Sarah Chen. This time, her face was more serious, her eyes hard with determination. "To the Zorath Expeditionary Fleet." Chen's voice rang out, steady but resolute. "We've given you every chance to leave peacefully. But make no mistake, if you continue with your aggression, you will regret it." Lyra's jaw clenched. The audacity of the humans to speak so boldly, knowing full well that they were facing one of the most powerful fleets in the galaxy, was both infuriating and fascinating. "We've activated our planetary defense systems," Chen continued, her voice unwavering. "You will not pass unnoticed. You will not conquer us. Our people have been fighting for survival for centuries, and we are not afraid to defend ourselves. You will not be the first invaders to be turned back." The transmission ended abruptly, and Lyra felt a strange mix of admiration and frustration. The humans were not afraid. They were not shaking in their boots like every other species they had encountered before. No, they were prepared, and they had a weapon that could potentially bring even the Zorath to their knees. Drell's voice cut through the tension. "Captain, I've detected a massive spike in the energy output from the generator. It's forming a resonance pattern, a direct disruption of our quantum communication network. If this continues, we will lose all ability to contact the fleet." Lyra's eyes narrowed. The humans had been hiding a weapon capable of blocking communication, a weapon designed to neutralize the Zorath's most advanced technologies. She understood now. It wasn't just a defensive measure. It was a means of deterrence, a way for them to ensure that no one could challenge their sovereignty. "We need to shut it down," Lyra muttered. "I can't allow a single primitive species to hold us at bay." Drell hesitated. "Captain, are we sure about this? The humans are willing to destroy their own world rather than surrender. Their defense systems, they are built to disrupt space-time itself. If we engage them in battle, we risk tearing apart everything around us." Lyra turned toward him, her eyes fierce. "This is war. We can't afford to show weakness. If we allow them to succeed in pushing us back, we will never be taken seriously by the rest of the galaxy. The Federation's influence is at stake." The command center fell into a heavy silence as the crew processed the gravity of the situation. The Zorath had faced countless wars, defeated ancient empires, and crushed rebellions. But this felt different. These humans, with their unyielding resolve and their deadly new weapon, were presenting an unexpected challenge. "Prepare the fleet," Lyra finally ordered, her voice cold and decisive. "We won't give them a choice." As the Ember's Edge turned its sights toward Earth, the tension in the bridge was palpable. The crew knew what they were about to face. The humans had one shot, one chance to prove that they could defend their world against the might of the Federation. And the Zorath, for the first time in a long while, were facing the true unknown, the hidden power of humanity. Down below, Commander Sarah Chen stood in the heart of Cheyenne Mountain, watching as the massive energy matrix hummed to life. Her mind was sharp, her resolve unshakable. The defense system they had constructed was not just a weapon. It was a statement. Humanity was not to be underestimated. "Activate the core sequence," she commanded, her voice strong. Around her, technicians scrambled to engage the final sequence. The quantum field generator was almost fully charged, ready to be deployed. As it activated, a ripple spread outward from the mountain, distorting the fabric of space around the planet. This was their last line of defense. "Commander," one of her officers said nervously, "the Zorath fleet is moving. They're preparing for a full assault." Chen nodded, her eyes fixed on the control panel. "Let them come. They'll have to face the full might of Earth's ingenuity." As the hum of the generator intensified, Sarah Chen's thoughts drifted back to the long years of preparation. The humans had fought wars of survival, against nature, against disease, against each other. But they had always emerged stronger. Now, they stood at the threshold of their greatest trial yet. And this time, they weren't just fighting to survive. They were fighting to preserve their place in the universe. The unseen edge. The Ember's Edge was now in full motion, its stealth systems cloaking the massive ship as it drifted deeper into Earth's gravitational pull. Captain Lyra Siren stood resolutely at the helm, her eyes fixed on the holographic display of the planet below. The Zorath fleet, though large and powerful, was still no match for the quantum defense systems humanity had activated. The odds were shifting, and Lyra could feel it in the air. This mission, this conquest, was no longer guaranteed. "Captain, we're reaching the outer perimeter of their defensive grid," Drell reported, his voice calm but filled with tension. "The quantum field is stronger than anticipated. We are experiencing significant distortion in our navigation systems." Lyra's lips pressed into a thin line. The humans had not just designed a defensive shield, they had created a barrier that was affecting even the most sophisticated of Federation technology. The idea that a primitive species could so easily challenge their might was almost insulting. But Lyra wasn't the type to be swayed by pride. She understood the importance of overcoming this obstacle. "Increase our speed," she ordered, her voice cutting through the rising tension. "We'll need to push through it. We can't afford to be stuck in this anomaly forever." The ship's engines roared as the Ember's Edge surged forward, its sleek body cutting through the distortions. Every meter felt like a struggle. Every second, it became clear just how much the humans had invested in this singular line of defense. "Captain," Ensign Corin spoke, his tone uneasy. "I'm detecting something unusual. A secondary quantum signature is emerging from Earth's atmosphere. It's not like anything we've encountered before." Lyra's hand instinctively reached for the control panel, her fingers hovering over the commands. "What do you mean? Is it another weapon?" Corin hesitated, eyes narrowing at the data. "No, Captain. It's more like a disturbance, a tear in spacetime, and it's coming from within Earth's atmosphere itself." Lyra felt a jolt of realization. It's not just the defense grid. They're manipulating spacetime itself. They're folding reality around them. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers," she ordered. "Whatever they're doing, we're about to feel it." Humanity's last stand. Below, inside the heart of Cheyenne Mountain, Commander Sarah Chen stood before the central control hub, watching the massive display of energy pulsating in response to the Zorath fleet's movements. The quantum field generator was fully engaged now, its power surging like a heartbeat of a giant. The defense systems had proven effective so far, but she knew the battle was far from over. The Zorath wouldn't just give up. They would fight harder. "We're not going to make it through this without a fight," Sarah muttered under her breath. The facility hummed as technicians scrambled to their stations, keeping a sharp eye on the energy levels. She had always expected an invasion, but now that it was here, it was more than just a battle for survival. It was a test of humanity's ingenuity, will, and resilience. "Commander," a voice called out from the control console. "We've detected fluctuations in the energy field. It seems like the Zorath ship is trying to break through the grid. Their ship's quantum capabilities are immense." Sarah turned to face the technician, her expression hard. "We have no choice. Prepare the secondary systems. Engage the Xenon protocol." The technician hesitated. "But, Commander, the Xenon protocol, it's never been tested. If we activate it now, we risk destabilizing the entire field. It could collapse everything." Sarah's eyes hardened. "We have no time to second-guess. We either stop them now, or we lose everything." "Activate it." There was a tense silence as the technician complied, initiating the program that would create a new layer of defense, a self-replicating quantum energy field designed to confuse and incapacitate the Zorath's quantum sensors. It was a risky move, but it was all humanity had left. As the protocol engaged, Sarah watched as the displays shifted. The Zorath ship's signals flickered, momentarily lost in the layers of energy they had just unleashed. It wasn't a perfect solution, but it gave Earth's defenders a window, a brief moment in time where the odds tilted in their favor. "Now, we wait," Sarah said, her voice low but resolute. "We don't know how long this will last, but if we can hold them off long enough, we might just win." The unexpected counterattack. On board the Ember's Edge, Lyra stared at the projections of Earth's atmosphere. The humans had responded in ways she had never anticipated. The energy surge they had detected from the surface wasn't just a simple defensive tactic, it was an offensive weapon, disrupting their quantum capabilities. Her fleet was no longer able to communicate efficiently, and every scan returned only fractured data. "We've lost contact with half the fleet," Drell reported grimly. "We can't get a clear reading on their movements." Lyra clenched her fists. The humans had taken the initiative, flipping the script in this conflict. Instead of sitting idly by as the Zorath invaded, they had turned the tables. The Xenon protocol was causing a ripple effect, throwing the Federation's most advanced ships into chaos. "We have to stop this," Lyra muttered. "Activate countermeasures. We can't afford to lose control now." But as she issued the command, something unexpected happened. The fabric of space around the Ember's edge began to shimmer. The ship groaned, as if the very core of its systems were being pulled apart. Lyra stumbled, her grip tightening on the railing as the ship shook violently. It was as though the very air around them had become thick, tangible, and alive with energy. "Captain, we're losing stability," Corin shouted. "Something is destabilizing the quantum field. It's coming from Earth." Lyra's mind raced. How could they have done this? How could their technology, so primitive, so backward, do this to us? "Engage the emergency systems," she barked. "Get us out of here now." But it was too late. The Ember's edge was caught in the expanding web of the Xenon protocol, a web that was growing more complex with each passing second.